it's your favorite author, Lisa Walker McCrae, with another story time from my novel, A Peculiar Kind of Love. In our last reading, Chapter 1, Ramen, Noodles, and Oreos, we left Drew and Chantel getting ready to meet Jay. He was Drew's childhood best friend from Texas who had flown out to Atlanta to celebrate Drew's graduation. Remind you, Chantel didn't care too much for Jay. Now, Jay was on the other side of Atlanta readying himself to see Drew. He was excited, but he was also nervous because he'd invited someone from Drew's past and didn't know how she'd feel about it. But anyway, we're about to find out. So if you're with me, let's get to it. This video is for entertainment purposes only. Yeah. Okay, y'all, so Jay was excited about seeing Drew, but he was just as excited about the hotel stay at the Marriott. Emerging from the hotel's bathroom, Jay wore the shower cap, robe, and slippers, all accommodations of the Marriott. For Jay, he paid good money for the experience and had every intention on enjoying it. Now, I'd say Jay was just country and not used to nothing, because why you walking around and all that? Okay, I'm sorry. Let's get back to the story. Anywho, Jay was now walking around like he was royalty, smoking on his imaginary pipe. Man, this gotta be the life. I know my girl been living it up out here, Jay stated. Yeah, she's been definitely doing her thing, Marcus agreed. You see, Marcus was the unmentioned guest that Jay had brought along. Leaving his view of the city, Marcus turned only to face eyes with Jay, who was indulging in his stay. He chuckled. You definitely getting your money's worth. Jay agreed with a hell yeah, reminding Marcus of the dime they spent on the trip. By all means, my brother, do you, Marcus advised, checking his image in the full-body mirror that hung from the closet door. Jay peeped Marcus had a nervousness about himself as he adjusted his clothing. What's up? Why you all nervous? Jay asked, eyeing Marcus. Marcus prided himself, brushed the invisible lint from his black carcanine pantsuit, then folded his shoulders and lied, denying the allegations about being nervous, when in fact he was freaking out that Jay had mentioned to Drew that he came along for the ride. It had been 4 years since he'd seen Drew, and the last conversation they had was left open. Come on, man. Something got you anxious, Jay cried. Nah, Jay was just being nosy. Anywho, Marcus mentioned to Jay that he wondered if Drew had changed. Jay reassured that she was still the same, but Marcus had questions because Jay hadn't seen her in 4 years either. But Jay swore by the letters and phone calls Drew was still the same Drew they had grown up with. Man, you can't tell like that. Marcus was now eyeing Jay, still unconvinced. Shoot, I'd be eyeing Jay too, because you can't tell if somebody has changed like that. It's like trying to decipher if a person is mad or not through a text message without using emojis. My goodness, Jay. Okay, back to the story. So Marcus is still unconvinced because he knows, just like us, you can't tell if a person has or has not changed through a letter or phone calls. I'm just gonna have to see for myself, Marcus stated up under his breath. Jay stepped back, taking a look at Marcus with suspicion. Why you so pressed about Drew all of a sudden, he asked. Marcus reminded Jay it was Drew they were talking about and she could be pressure on the person. Then Marcus hurried to change the conversation, asking Jay if Drew had any homegirls. You see, Marcus wanted to tell Jay that he'd been in love with Drew since childhood, but it wasn't the right time and he didn't know how Jay would feel about it. So him bringing up Drew and if she had any homegirls was the gate to escape. Taking the robe off, replacing it with a white button-down, Jay let out a sigh, explaining to Marcus that Drew had a roommate she was cool with, but she wasn't anything to be excited about. Marcus smirked. Jay's facial expression matched his tone, explaining Drew's uptight roommate. Marcus detected a little jealousy pinging from Jay. "You not jealous of her roommate, are you?" he asked, hoping Jay wasn't jealous of some female. Jay shook his head no, denying the charges. He claimed it had nothing to do with jealousy, but everything to do with Chantel's smug attitude and rudeness whenever he called. Marcus became involved, asking Jay if he'd seen said homegirl. "What's up, man?" Jay asked, seeing Marcus' interest was personal. Jay was not feeling Marcus's vibe about Chantel, y'all, and he quickly reminded him that they were two small fish in a big-ass ocean tonight, and they needed to keep their options open. "Finally, you thinking like a man," Marcus stated, giving Jay some dap, then spraying himself with a generous amount of cologne. Jay coughed out, trying to clear the air with his hands. "Man, that's enough," he advised. Marcus eyed Jay and sprayed the cologne once more, informing him that he needed to smell good to reel the ladies in. Jay picked the bottle up and examined it. "Night love," he read. "Smells more like nightmare." Jay laughed out when seeing the go-to-hell look on Marcus's face. "Come on, man. Finish getting ready. Drew's gonna meet us there." Well, that's our story time. Thank you guys for tuning in. That's chapter 1. Join me later for the start of chapter 2. I hope by now you guys are anxious to see what's going on in Drew's life. Keep following me because her story really gets interesting. Bye-bye.